NDA, UDA, DTU are done.
The big debate in the dance team world is like, which one is better?
And we're going to give you that answer in this episode of
Us talking about nationals.
TMCorrales. I don't know.
So nationals is over. All 3 high school nationals are over.
Yeah.
Well, the 3 like big ones.
Big ones.
Like there's still contest of champions coming up, and our JV team's going to USA in a couple weeks. So.
But like the big ones,
the
like
big Florida ones.
NDA, UDA, DTU are done.
Which is like the big debate in the dance team world is like, which one is better at this point?
And we're going to give you that answer in this episode of
Us talking about nationals.
TMCorrales. I don't know. But just some things to like update you guys on life. We are opening a studio. That is coming July 1st. We're actually in the process of like the finances and the lease agreements, the scary stuff where we're putting money into this thing, but it's happening and it's a little scary, but I think we're excited.
And in the midst of all this, we've been to NDTC, which is UDA Nationals, and he just got back from NDA and DTU, which were the same weekend.
Yeah, they were literally like the Hyatt Regency and then the Hilton, and they're like connected by one bridge, and it's like a 5-minute walk. So I walked that.
I thought DTU was at the convention center.
It's at the convention center, but it's connected to the Hyatt.
Oh.
They're like, it's like Hilton,
hotel's
Hyatt,
connected to it?
and then they all connect to the convention center, and then it runs. I will say, DTU is really big this year. Like the amount of people doing DTU, I felt like it was like triple the size from last year, at least, because I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago where DTU was in the same weekend, and they only had one convention room for DTU Nationals. This year they had 3 convention-sized halls for their competition, which was...
So it's like almost as big as UDA. Because UDA runs 4 rooms the whole weekend.
Yeah, I want to say it's very close to the size of UDA. NDA is the smaller of the 3 competitions for sure.
Well, UDA had that division split this year, which was different.
I dislike it. And I'm sure I'm not speaking for just myself either.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the division split itself because it seemed to work in the favor of a lot of it seemed to work in favor of a lot of the teams that we know of and we are familiar with. But the only thing I don't like about it is that they took away the medium size category.
So would you like it if they kept the medium size but still did division splits?
Yeah, because to me it doesn't make sense that for game day they still have Division 1, Division 2, but they still have small, medium, large.
I think there's enough hip hop teams to compete in a medium division and a large division.
Especially because we have prelims, semis, and finals, even with the division split.
Yeah, I think adding a medium division at UDA would have, because it's hard. What's the limit? 15?
I think UDA goes up to 10 for small, and then 11 to 15 probably for medium.
But this year, the year that small was
right
15,
now small is 14 max.
14. So if you're not at 14 and you're trying to compete in large, like say
you have to have at least 20 to make it look.
Yeah, because you'll go up against teams that have 20 to 30, and like being on the lower end of large, there's no incentive to be in the large division. You would rather cut dancers, which some teams did, to stay in small.
Like why I wouldn't compete with 15 on the floor.
That doesn't seem fair.
Against like the armies like Collierville and Coral Reef that have like
30,
these
40. I mean, good on them for cleaning all those people. That's really hard to do.
Keeping them all in the program and like.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
Recruiting dancers is tough.
And training them and cleaning them, it's a tough process. But I think adding the medium division, I think the medium division was actually the most competitive.
The hardest one. So they just kind of, I don't know. I still don't know how I feel about it. But I know a lot of people are not happy for next year that they have to travel with their cheer team.
Oh, because
that's why they're doing it, is because
all
the D1 schools for dance, cheer, whatever, will go one weekend. And then all the D2 schools, dance, cheer, the next weekend. So what sucks is that our team, Diamondback Dance Crew, they made like great friends with Stillwater this weekend, who we have worked with. And we won't even be together next year because they're D2 and we're D1.
So they're splitting the divisions the whole weekends.
Like back-to-back weekends, so we won't even see them.
Yeah. I think that lowers the excitement of the event too.
Yeah, because you want to see the good teams, and what if like the really great teams are not in your division? You don't get to see them in person.
Yeah. I will say I do think D2 is the harder of the two divisions at this point.
Because it's like the smaller schools, they have like an emphasis on sports and
a budget
stuff like this
for arts.
Yeah.
Whereas like normal school districts, they typically
like public schools don't really.
They don't finance the arts as well as like a smaller school. Yeah.
And a lot of private schools, like Catholic schools and
like
stuff
Prez.
like that.
Prez would do really well at this comp, but yeah, I'm not against the division splits. I do think those are fair in a sense because the best teams will compete against the best in D2. I mean, in any case, the best teams are going to win, but I
just think that the size thing, they should bring that back because why keep it for game day and not anything else?
It should be 11 and under small, 11 to 17 is medium.
It's like it was 15
11
before.
to 15, okay.
And then 16 to...
I
don't even think they have a max.
Yeah, honestly, they should have an extra large
Extra
division.
large, yeah.
If you really want
or change it to extra small, small, medium, large.
I don't know. Yeah.
I think USA does extra small.
Yeah.
We used to do that for all male.
I do disagree though that sorry, I'm gonna scoot it. That there should be a division split, but there should also be size divisions. There has to be there had to be reasoning like time restraints.
Not even time restraints because it would be the same amount of teams just adding a medium division.
They would give another national champion. I don't know if that adds cost. I doubt it. It's just the victory of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a
There has to be a reason. There has to be a reason. Like there's a reason why they did this, and it had to be of time or money.
I mean, to be fair, All Star does only small and large, so I get it. But there's so many.
But
more.
All Star is also a significantly smaller competition than UDA Nationals.
Well, not when you get to Summit and Worlds. It's huge.
Well, then I would argue that Summit and Worlds should do small, medium, large.
Yeah.
Honestly, because it's...
Then you get into like, well, I won a bid. The bid that I got was for small hip hop, not medium hip hop. Then people are gonna like...
it needs to go...
It gets complicated, yeah.
Okay, and then maybe this is a good reason why we don't like doing DT or UDA. This is a really good reason why we don't like doing UDA, because if we have to choose and jump through hurdles to figure out what's best for our team, that's too many things to figure out to make it worthwhile. I will say I don't agree with the judging at UDA. I think it's a little inconsistent.
Yeah.
Not just from me, but from other teams that have shown me their scores. I'll see a judge score us consistently in the 8 or 9s, and then one judge...
like low 7s.
There's some kind of inconsistencies. And then going to finals, they switch the judges up. So we don't know how that judge is subjectively going to see, and they don't even see the cleans that we have fixed the day before, or the changes that we were working towards. One judge is now no longer judging us the second day.
Because the whole point is...
improvement.
Yeah, to take the score sheet, the comments, and the critiques and fix it.
Yeah, I agree. And that's something also that I don't really enjoy with UDA. NDA
and granted, it's not only UDA. Like DTU had some discrepancies where one of our teams got burned by one judge. Like if that one judge would have scored consistently with the others, they would have added 5 points to their total.
Right.
Which was crazy.
Yeah.
How do you score like low 9s from 2 to 3 judges and then one scores you low 7s?
I just don't think... On the topic of UDA, just so like it's easy to organize, because I do have my complaints about DTU and NDA because I was physically there through the experience. You were at UDA, so you have more experience on this. But from the prior year when I went, UDA was not, the notes weren't enough for me to go, okay, this is something we need to make big changes, or we're on the right path.
Yeah.
They were very vague or gloss overs of things that I already knew. Like I remember sitting in the room with you, it was like, so what do we do? Clean more?
Yeah.
Work on spacing? Because clearly that's the only notes that they could give us.
Yeah.
And then we still end up not getting...
Yeah, we go straight to finals on the first day, and then we end up in not even the top 10.
Yeah, 0.5 behind Peters Township, and then...
Yeah,
so I don't understand. That could sound like I'm like bitter, when in reality I wish I had competed at semis so I could get the actual notes and I could make the adjustments so that finals would have been an easier go for me. I could have our team could have had a better chance at finaling.
And that's low key what we said, like is like the curse of going straight to finals is that you don't really get that second day feedback like everyone else does. Like,
so what are we really working on?
Yeah.
And what if they switch the judges? What if semifinals judges are judging a team that they saw improvement on, and we're just getting the first look?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah. I agree. That's different.
Okay.
And I mean, in general, though, I do love UDA because it is at ESPN and it gives us that like that Disney vibe, that college nationals vibe. I love it. For. Yeah, I love it, but like I can't help but like think of like the politics behind it and like everyone. I mean, in a sense, every competition is going to end up political in some sense, but like based on some of the teams that we worked with this year, it felt like the politics were running deep this season because our teams that we work with aren't the favorites per se.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There are a few instances where favoritism had kind of shown its truth, especially at UDA. Like the fact that one team is 5 times repeating champions is a little ridiculous. Nothing against the team, but there has to have been something close enough where, like a judge was like, oh, they're always going to be good. I wish they would just remove names and just watch it for straight content.
Yeah. That'd be
Team 1, Team 2, Team 3. Because I do think names tend to inflate judges' scores and turn them to know that this is a good program, we should score them high.
Yeah. That's a good point. Like, I wish someone would make a comp. Well, I mean, studio comps are like that. You don't know what studio they're from. You just watch it for the content.
Watch it for the content, yeah.
So I guess that's the difference between, like, dance team and studio.
But you did mention something that's really good about UDA is the Disney package.
Yeah, because I think UDA is the only one that does Disney anymore.
Yeah.
Even Contest of Champions switched to Universal.
I think,
and that's as far as Florida goes. USA does Disneyland, but like we want to go to Florida.
The Florida travel. I know not everyone goes there for like the Disney package, but that is a big sell. Like, cause say a smaller team that just wants the national experience, including with a vacation. That's a make or break. And for me and our coaching staff, we're Disney people, and we do like to go to Disney at least once or twice while we're there.
Yeah.
And with how NDA DTU is set up, it's all universal.
Yeah. And we can't even like stay off property anymore. We have to stay where.
Yeah.
Well, at least for NDA, I didn't look it up for DTU, but for NDA, we have to stay where they tell us to stay.
Right. And I think
commuters are only local.
And then UDA is just it's the competitive edge of this. I'm just saying positives for UDA because the Disney package is great. The competitiveness, I do think it's some of that consistently across the board. It's some of the best teams. Period. Yeah,
it's the talent there is insane. Like we would walk by, even our own kids would be like, "Those are high schoolers."
Yeah, those are old.
They look like adults, like 25 years old.
Yeah.
Like, what are they feeding you in the states where you live?
Right. And I don't know what they're feeding.
The competitive edge is crazy.
Those Kentucky kids, those Kentucky girls, they're freaking massive. Not like massive, but like tall.
Tennessee
and
girls.
Like, it's ridiculous. I'm like, you're how old? But I think that's the best part about UDA too, is you are going to get the highest caliber.
It is the best of the best, and you're honored to be there.
And it's also it's a close competition, meaning there's no one in the 70s.
Yeah.
Because at NDA and DTU, I was seeing scores in like the 50s and 60s, and I was like, okay, I see where this competitive edge like really falls off at like something like an NDA or DTU.
Yeah.
But speaking on more positives of UDA, Disney World, the Disney World connection coming through the castle, it's like memorable.
It's iconic, yeah.
Yeah. The competitive edge of it. And I will say, practicing at All-Star, the All-Star Music, All-Star Sports.
Yeah, that's the environment is what makes you really feel like you're there. Mm-hmm. You know, you're at the All-Star Resort. Everyone's practicing everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like a tradition to practice outside in the grass and all those things, and it's just that's something that you can't replace.
Nope. But I think those are like the 3 positives. Everything else, like the biases, the non like the verbal notes that we would get, or not the verbal, the typed out notes. Yeah. And then the discrepancy in judging makes me feel like UDA is, I think they like almost know who's going to win by the time you register. Switching to NDA.
I mean,
Sorry. I'm dying. I'm okay. No, I'm not. Okay, I'm gonna cut that out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt your ears to listen to that.
I just cut out.
Yeah. Okay, switching to NDA. I was sad that I couldn't go with you, but you said it was crazy because we had like 6-7 teams there, but you were only there as a videographer.
Yeah, I was there.
So you weren't like coaching.
I was recording the Coronado Cougarettes, or videotaping their entire.
Just documenting their weekend, but the fact that you weren't really a coach for the weekend, it gave you the ability to like run around to all these teams and help them out.
It also gave me the ability to like hear and listen to what other coaches were saying about the competition itself.
And kind of observe.
Yeah. Some things that I witnessed. There was a big controversy that happened while towards the end of the competition, but we could talk about that.
Yeah, just talk about like what you liked or what you didn't like.
Everyone's super friendly. The communication, everything is like very consistent and thorough. If you need help, there's someone there fast.
They're very responsive on the band too, like consistently.
I enjoy that part of NDA. As far as the competition itself, it was on time, which these competitions when they get off schedule, it kind of like it doesn't even matter when they end. They're just trying to get it done.
Yeah.
I do like now NDA is giving medals for the top 3.
Oh yeah, I did like that.
Huge.
This was also their first year doing semis. Before it was always just prelims and finals, and they did straight to finals as well. Some teams that went straight to finals.
I do like the prelim, semis, finals. It really gives like the best opportunity for teams to succeed.
Yeah.
And the competition level, I will say there were like some very weak teams. Like not trying to put anyone down. It's just compared to like UDA,
the caliber
of competitor is not lower, just not as consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, because there were. I mean, I was watching it like all day, and when they would announce scores, it's like so and so 93.2, so and so 67.8. I'm like,
same division.
Holy.
So yeah, that
30 points.
Yeah, how do you come back from that? Same with like, there's a hip hop finalist that got a 94, and the next closest one to them was an 88 or an 89.
Yeah,
it's that kind of gap is like scary.
Yeah.
Like for anyone trying to hop into that division and try to compete with that is. You're like, okay, we just don't win because that score is so high. I mean, yeah, there's coaching, there's routine, and all of that cleans and whatever. But the same thing I felt with UDAs with NDA.
Yeah.
Some of the notes are very vague.
I think what bothers me the most is when judges give notes. This is just in general, not just NDA, but like when they give notes on a certain move and they call it something that it's not.
What did they call our windmills once?
I forget, like air flares or something?
Yeah, there's a wrong hip hop term. It's like calling Alsa cones spinny on your toes.
Yeah. It's just like, completely wrong. Or like the rubber bands, they call it a double kip or whatever. Like.
And I think they just need to be updated on verbiage. I mean, we all have to learn these French terms for
like technique and ballet.
I think if the judges are going to judge hip hop, because I do mostly hip hop, they need to start learning hip hop terminology.
Or hire judges, like have hip hop all in one day in one room, and hire 3 or 6 hip hop judges just for that room.
I do like how they were judging this. They cycled, so the flow of events on one floor, like there's two rehearsal spaces in the back.
Yeah.
One would be pom, one would be hip hop.
Yeah.
And then they have 2 judging panels. One would be pom, one would be hip hop, or just would be judging the pom, and the other would be judging the hip hop. So the pom will go on, judge. Hip hop will go on, judge. Does that make sense?
So there was like 12 judges.
I think so.
Lined up.
And they would cycle them through. And then when they
crazy.
would switch out for divisions, they would move a whole panel of judges off and a whole brand new panel. Like they had this flow.
Okay, then that makes sense. It's just are those 6 judges actually trained in hip hop is the question.
And confirmed NDA uses the same judge for finals, for prelims, for semis.
Okay.
Which, because on the Coronado score sheet and some of the score sheets I heard from others, they said, I love the changes. I can tell that you guys made fixes from last.
I like that.
And see, I like that. I like that judges notice that we tried to appease them. That stuff is super important to me.
And we're not just like throwing it away.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. What else did I like? I think the venue was kind of perfect. Like,
Yeah, that's where it was last year, right?
yeah, I think it was kind of perfect. Like the venue itself, there was enough space. It was a little crammed in the hallways. Like teams were trying to just rehearse in hallways for whatever reason, and it
I
was
think that's the issue. That's probably the one thing that I wouldn't like about NDA is that there's no practice space outside like at All Star.
There's a grass space, but it's freaking hot in Florida.
Yeah.
It's not covered, and there were people rehearsing there. I got a tan because Coronado was rehearsing on because they went straight to finals.
Yeah.
And I got a farmer's tan because they were there for like 6 hours just trying to get first place. However, I told Bree, I was like, you should just walk across the bridge to the convention center. There is hallways on hallways of just empty space indoors. But whatever, that's besides the point. I liked NDA as a venue. I didn't like the hallway situation, but they gave you a team room, which means you can place your things, your bags, and you don't
Kind
have
of
to.
like in Dallas.
Yeah. It was a very well-ran competition as far as flow.
Yeah.
But
Like UDA, you don't have a place to set your bags or
UDA
anything.
doesn't do a crap. You show up, you perform, you leave.
Yeah, I kind of like the team room thing. And like when we were in Dallas for All Star NDA, no one was really in the team room, so we just used it to practice.
I don't think people knew that that's their badge.
There was only it was like a bunch of like pods of chairs, but it was like us and then like one team over here
All the way
using
down,
theirs in this like huge room, like
yeah.
thousands of square feet.
NDA was well ran as
Yeah.
far as like the competition.
It's like thoughtful.
And then, but same issues with judging, same issues with like biases.
Yeah.
And I mean, we could talk about it now. They gave out the wrong grand champions for the end of.
And it's not necessarily wrong. It's just
They messed up.
yeah. So I'm sure anyone watching this has probably like already found out about it if they're in the dance team coach's Facebook or whatever. But I guess what is it in the rule book? It says it has to be the 2 highest scores averaged. But then in the webinar that they had for the coaches meeting,
They must be a national.
it says you have to win a title to get that. So Coronado didn't win a gold, but their 2 highest scoring routines were the grand champion.
I can see both sides.
Yeah, I can see both sides. So like I'll speak on the Coronado side.
Okay.
I see it as an honor because that means my team is more versatile and well-rounded and can score high in multiple divisions. Rather than just excelling in one and getting a 97, but my other 2 categories are like in the 80s.
Yeah.
But the other side,
you took away a moment from my team.
yeah.
My team worked just as hard as your team.
And scored higher.
We got the highest score technically, and we followed by the rules that wasn't set by us, but set by someone else.
Especially if they got the highest score in the entire competition but didn't get the grand champs. But it has to be more than one routine, more than one style. But that NDA has already taken accountability for it, and they're gonna be.
I was there real time when this was announced. So you had texted me, wait, Coronado Grand Champs?
Yeah, because I was watching it. I was like, huh?
And we were already gone.
Yeah.
Because we knew.
That's why no one cheered on the thing, because I figured you guys weren't in the room
Bree
anymore.
knew. Bree's the coach of Coronado. Jackie knew. She's also a coach of Coronado. They were like,
So they were like, oh, since we didn't win, we're probably not
since
going
we
to
didn't get a first place, because that's what it says in the webinar, which they're correct on. We're done here. Let's go home.
Yeah.
They were like, okay, we're sad because they wanted first, but they got the placements that they were given, and we left. I get that text message from you, and I have microphones on Bree and Jackie.
Yeah.
Like I can hear them as they're talking about things.
Yeah.
And she literally goes, wait, what? What'd you say? No, that's not true. We can't win grand champions if we don't have a title.
Yeah.
And she's like, that doesn't make any sense. It says it in the rules.
Yeah.
And then another parent, these are random parents, like not from our
Like, hey,
camp.
congratulations.
Yeah, these are parents from other teams going up to Bree and Jackie, like, hey, you guys are Cougarettes, you guys got grand champs.
Like, what?
And it's like, what? And this is how you know they weren't prepared. They didn't have a banner to give to Cougarettes.
Yeah. Well, like, why wouldn't you have a banner in general, whether it was Cougarettes or not? Because the junior grand champion had a banner. I saw that on the...
Maybe it just got misplaced or something.
Yeah.
But we go down, talk to some of the staff, like, hey, where's the truth in this? It took about 15 minutes. So they were doing like their due diligence. They were trying to communicate words to each other while packing up an event, while trying to tear down. Because they had to be out of that hall before 11 at least, or midnight. Yeah. And we were there till like 10:30 just trying to like talk, like what's happening, what is going on. And they told us they're grand champs. This is the change in the rule book. This is what we're working with. And so they pushed forward. They did the right thing, NDA. They honored both. However, it is a mistake. So they took away the moment for a group that could have been grand champs following the rules they set.
If you follow the rules of if you're a gold medalist, that's what you have to have in order to win it, then they didn't get announced.
Yep. So one group of, they got first. They got national champions, and so did Coronado. And let's also see it from Coronado's side. They scored really high, and it wasn't even close. It is the words from an NDA staff. It was so far ahead that
they had to give it to Coronado.
Yeah, and that's not like bashing anyone. It's just Coronado they're consistently good.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to take away anyone's grand
At the end of the day, it was NDA's bad.
Yeah, and we can't what I see on on this Facebook group chat is like they're blaming coaches, they're blaming
the dancers,
and it's like, dude, you guys are attacking the wrong people, and you're not even trying to
you think that's Bree's fault?
You're not trying to problem solve here, you're just being mean to kids that just want to be happy.
They didn't deserve it. What do you mean
they didn't deserve it?
They're a consistently strong team, scoring high in multiple categories.
And then we get to the bias.
Yeah.
They're like, NDA favors Cougarettes. That's the conversation that's being had now.
So let's pull up all the scores.
Okay, then a team like ours, when we get shafted, we could say UDA favors so-and-so.
Yeah.
And we could feel that way too. So I could see both sides. But what I won't do is discredit dancers who've worked their butts off to get to where they need to be.
Yeah.
That seems unfair. And then you also, coaches need to learn how to communicate without being anonymous members.
Yeah.
Because how are you it's easy to be anonymous when you're not trying to defend anything on your own end.
Because who knows if that anonymous person isn't even someone affiliated with the top team.
Right.
They might be affiliated with a lower tier team.
I just think you're just looking for the gossip and you're trying to stir the pot.
You're just trying if
you really want to be a part of the benefit.
That's why I low key like how Bree was like, "Hi, anonymous. See my response above."
Right, because it's hurtful.
Yeah,
the words you're saying gets to these kids, and now they don't think they're deserving of anything.
Yeah.
And because of an anonymous word by someone that they'll never meet, you've changed how they think about themselves.
And I said this to you. I said this to you and Aiden earlier. That energy is giving the same energy when we won at NDA 2 years ago, even though we had 2 major falls in the routine.
Yeah.
But falls don't equal a deduction. That's Hip Hop International. If you fall out of a trick, then you get points off.
Right.
But if the content is good, if the team is cohesive, they still worked hard. Things happen. You fall out of a trick, you fall out of a turn. But it's that same energy. It's like, well, they beat us only by this much. Well, they even had 2 major falls and blah blah blah.
Yeah, and then they could say we're the favorites, even though it was our first year competing at that
year, and then we moved to UDA the next year.
Yeah, so I'm not trying to defend anyone.
No, it's just
each circumstance is circumstantial. We can't compare one to one. They're apples and oranges at this point. However,
I think can't blame the dancers.
Yeah, no, you don't put the dancers involved. They're just the vessel that these teams operate on. Yeah, and to not give them credit is selfish and honestly when gross. The comments I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That thread was, I was like, in my head, I had a feeling when you actually discussed it with me, or who said it? Was it you or was it Aiden? Like, oh, I didn't know that they can win that without winning a title or whatever.
I didn't text you back because literally as soon as they heard that, Bree and Jackie ran off and all my camera gear was out. So I just picked it up, threw it in my backpack, grabbed whatever camera, and I was running to follow
Well,
them.
either way, I knew it was going to be an issue based on, I mean, it must have been Aiden texting us that, like, wait, how did they get grand champs? Like, they didn't even win a gold. I thought that was a rule.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, you're right.
Very right.
So I had a feeling someone was going to come out and say something about it.
Always.
I'm surprised it wasn't on like Instagram or something.
I just think we all need to remember that this is just a dance competition.
Yeah.
That these dancers work their butts off, that these coaches worked super hard, that...
And stop being anonymous.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to say it with your face. Like,
Yeah.
you don't, those anonymous posts are kind of embarrassing.
It is.
Like, stand up for what you believe
even
in.
replying as anonymous, too.
Yeah, like, if you're afraid to say something with your own face, like, then I don't think you should be saying anything at all.
Yeah.
Especially mean stuff about dancers. That's not cool. But that drama aside, and you could say it's bias. I didn't see any bias towards Cougarettes. And I was sitting there the whole time as a fly on the wall.
Literally the whole weekend, recording everything.
I will say that the fluctuation of scores was very high from prelims, semis, finals. Because I had a team that was in both prelims, semis, finals. And I also had a team that was prelims straight to finals.
Yeah.
And those scores fluctuated heavy. You were in first going into finals, so you got through, but then ended up fifth in your category.
Sounds like us at UDA.
It's I don't know what the inconsistency is, and I wasn't studying their routines hard enough to be like, that was better than the day before, but...
No, what it is, so in this cohort, right, there's team A, B, and C. Team A scores a 95. Team B scores an 88. Team C scores an 87. 95 goes straight to finals. Over here, Team A scores an 88, 86, 85. Team A, who scored an 88, also goes straight to finals, but they're not in first place because Team A in this cohort scored a 95.
I mean, I did that in general. Like, I knew those scores.
It's tough. It's chance at that point, depending on what cohort you end up in.
Yeah, it's random.
So you just need to be the best in your cohort and far exceed them if you want to be up there.
Yeah, and
top seed.
I didn't see an issue with that. It's just I did see fluctuation of scores pretty heavy. Yeah,
I do think the fluctuation is crazy. Like I think scoring in the 60s is not good.
It's and if they're honest, awesome. But
I hope the critiques in the comments reflect that.
The top 3 spots in any category were outside of like the hip hop medium. It was neck and neck, like 0.2, you know, like, and the difference. Yeah,
like even during the awards, like the guy would be like, everyone in the top 10 scored above a 90, and then everyone in the top 5 scored above a 93.
Yeah, it's insane. It's too close to, like, And then, what are some positives?
You started with the positives.
Oh, and then I'm trying to think of like anything else that could help people decide whether to go to DTU, NDA, or UDA. I did like that NDA had rehearsal space. That was huge. Team room was great. The shuttle service was fast, and I barely waited like 10 minutes to get onto a shuttle.
Except when it closed.
Oh yeah, they closed it at 10:30, and I
thought it was like 9.
No, 10:30 or 10:30. Yeah. And,
but it opens up at 9 the next day or something.
It was up at 6. I was traveling at 6, but 10:30 it was done, and I was rehearsing with the team until like 10:45. So when I got there, I had to Uber, but that's not a big deal. That's my fault. I should have paid attention. I don't know. I did have a fun experience. There was a lot of good talent there. I think that's if I were to choose, NDA would be one of the near the top for us to decide if we wanted to switch competitions. Mm-hmm. I was also
because we're just like super familiar and comfortable,
and we just have friends there too. Like we have.
Yeah, it'd be nice to like travel with Coronado Basic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And same weekend as DTU.
I still can't believe that they were on the same weekend.
Yeah, that's insane. The amount of dancers in Florida at any given time was...
Yeah, and I'm sure you guys saw everyone at the airport.
The Florida airport was insane. It was ridiculous. Everyone had a speaker. Everyone had these
Palms.
Yeah, it's just,
Game day signs.
Are you guys a cheerleader team? No, we're not cheering teams. Just because we have palms doesn't mean we're a cheer
Yeah,
team.
we got all those questions too. A flight attendant was like, "Can you guys make a cheer about Southwest Airlines?" Like,
No.
well, they did it.
No, we can't.
Of course, our kids did it.
Of course. Let me positives and negatives at DTU, and this is coming from not a coaching perspective because I didn't coach any of the teams at DTU. However, we choreographed for a few teams at DTU.
Yeah, Fossil Ridge and Presentation, both who went straight to finals.
Straight to finals. But
in medium and small,
in their
right?
cohorts, yeah.
Yeah.
Talking with Billy and Sarah from Presentation and Fossil, they both loved their experience at DTU. I think it was out of the two competitions, NDA and DTU. I can't speak on UDA because I wasn't there, but between NDA and DTU was by far the bigger competition.
And UDA is bigger than DTU.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true.
It is based on the team list. I looked at the team list for DTU, and there's four rooms.
It had to have been close then, because when I walked into DTU, it literally felt like there was a Taylor Swift concert. There were so many freaking people there. Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe not Taylor Swift. Who's like lesser than Taylor Swift? Because Taylor Swift.
Frank Ocean.
Maybe, I don't know. Whatever. There was so many teams. I will say, from a negative standpoint, I did not like their
Warm-up area?
their warm-up area. It was very dark, kind of far from the competition floor, which means I'm sure they did that so the speakers don't bleed.
Yeah.
But then once you finish your practice area, there was no liaison to tell you to go where. There was no one to go because it was so far from stage.
Yeah.
And then there was just this empty gap, and then practice floor, all in the same convention hall. And so you would practice, and there's 4 practice floors across, or 3, and then your time would be up. Okay, everyone, time's up. And then you would leave, and then usually for NDA, someone would receive you and go, "Hey, team, we're going this way. You're
Yeah.
And
they run a tight ship.
Yeah, but then they just kind of let us go wherever, and I was like, "You're not going to take us to the thing." So one of the coaches was like, "Do we leave? Where do we go? Do we go outside?" It's like, "No, let me find out." So I went up to somebody, asked, and then they pointed us in the right direction. But that's the good thing about NDA is they receive in place. You don't have to think.
Yeah.
And then I don't like this. I don't like stagnant. At least for me, I like our backstage process is super important to a good performance.
Yeah.
But they had 6 teams lined up for the performance floor waiting.
Really?
After they practiced.
See, that's why for UDA and for Dallas, for NDA, I liked that they kept us out until it was our time to go hit the trick floor.
Yep.
And that was the same. Well, they don't have a trick mat at UDA, but there's 8 whole practice floors at UDA.
Yeah.
So you either go A, B, C, D. It's lettered, but you don't get to go into the room until it's your time.
Yeah, I would say maybe 1 to 2 acts before you have to go on is maximum. But with Fossil Ridge, there were 6 teams in front of us.
And you guys are just standing there?
Cooling off, wasting time.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that aspect of it. That's nitpicking though. I will say, outside of one score with presentation, I felt like the judging was fairly consistent. I watched other teams and I was like, okay, there's some quality talent here. And I saw their scores. I'm like, okay, that matches up for me. Yeah.
At DTU, I noticed that a lot of teams that we used to compete against at Contest of Champions switched over to DTU. Probably because it's also similar as far as no music rules, no trick rules. I mean, there's a couple trick rules, right? Or not really? Oh.
Not really.
Yeah, Mark Keppel's there, Miami Arts, Somerset, and we used to compete against them back in the day.
It's because of the prelim semifinals.
Yeah, Contest of Champions, you get one chance, it's done.
It's huge. It's a game changer because I hated at Contest of Champions that you could only compete one day, and that was your nationals experience.
And
that just makes no sense to me.
And then you could get called back to showcase at the award ceremony.
But it does nothing.
But it does nothing for you, and it's low-key bias. We would only ever get called back if it was just the boys.
Yeah.
Because
they're boys.
They love boys. So the one year we didn't have boys, or we didn't have a full boys team, they called a different boys team back.
Yeah.
I think it was Mark Hippel.
Yeah.
I mean, they were great, but
Yeah, and there's no discredit to the teams.
it seems a little weird. Like, why would you only pick, I think it's like one of each style, huh, to come back and showcase?
Yeah.
And that's it. And then the hip hop is always the one that has boys.
Yeah.
Not the best.
You just gotta see it like, why would you only want to compete once and then hope to compete again?
Yeah.
When you could control that I can compete 3 days at least.
Exactly.
You can control that in a rehearsal, not from a judge's subjective bias.
Yeah.
Or Contest of Champions selection process. Like, I don't like that. But I foresee Contest of Champions not doing well moving forward. Like, it's not as good of a competition route as UDA, NDA, DTU. And DTU really, I think, is probably going to be the biggest competition next season. Yeah. I think DTU is going to be the biggest competition route for beating out NDA, UDA.
Yeah.
I truly see that happening because it's so, it's like the music clause is already creatively stifling.
Yeah.
The tricks is creatively stifling. And then on top of that, like just the biases that over the time UDA, NDA the varsity umbrella has kind of accrued. Mm-hmm. You know, like every year there's always an issue. Every year there's always, and then someone has their own like story about UDA, NDA, and it kind of just turns that varsity name into like a money grab. Yeah. Whereas DTU is very friendly. There was so much staff.
What I love about DTU also is that they do a draw. Like someone, I don't know, I didn't watch it, but it says a live virtual draw. Like someone is on, like has all the medium hip hop names in a thing, and they pick it out, and that's the order they perform it in.
Cool.
And I think that's kind of cool.
It keeps it interesting.
Yeah, so it's not like you can't blame them for putting like the good team last in the good spot or whatever, you know.
It's all random.
Yeah.
I did like DTU also. They do like mid-bite interviews. So a team just performed and maybe they just need a judge switch out. Instead of just going blank on the screen, they put a TV of the kids that just performed. Like, and
kind of like what they do for college.
Yeah, it keeps it like, keeps the energy real. You get to talk to some of these dancers. And
they give rings to national champions.
That's tight. And everyone gets a trophy. The NDA tombstone that everyone gets, if you don't place top 3, they have like 17 of them, which is nice. You know, at least they're giving something.
Yeah.
And then top 3 gets medals, which is awesome. But everyone that competes gets a trophy with a little placard. It's a nice one. And then as it goes higher up, you get a bigger trophy.
Yeah.
Which is cool. And they get jackets.
Prez took home like 5.
Dude, they walked out with a lot.
Aiden said that he doesn't like the DTU's jackets though.
Yeah, no, they're not as nice. They're not like thick. They're not like bulky. Or they don't
I will say I don't really like the white ones for UDA high school, but I do like the black ones for UDA All Star. Mm-hmm. So the ones that they're gonna have when we go to Florida in a couple weeks are black satin.
Tight.
So it's exactly like the high school ones. It's just black. Yeah. Which I like better.
DTU had like almost track jacket like.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like official.
Yeah,
huh?
It feels like what they would wear for like backstage stuff. Like if you were
your warm-ups.
Yeah. Whereas you want to feel like special.
And we all know those NDA ones are so bulky and sweaty, but like those are so iconic. Yeah. I feel like.
We got like 5 of them upstairs. No big deal.
Literally.
I was trying to explain to like people, like our kids, how big though that they have a jacket. Like, because at NDA.
Some of them have 2. They won last year too.
At NDA, they're like, these girls are fighting for their lives for 0.2, and our kids are just like, we get another, yay, and another, yay. It's like, you guys don't understand
like
how much.
Like our little 9-year-olds, they won one this year, and they won last year. Yeah, some of them got a double title this year, but ridiculous. They only give one jacket.
Yeah, they've been limiting that, which they should.
But at UDA high school, when we went to the after party, people had like three jackets on, 3 white jackets. They had one here, they had one tied around their, and tied around
That's
their
ridiculous.
waist, with all their like medals clanking.
Showing off, rude.
It's like clank, clank, clank.
I really hope we get some medals.
Yeah, I'm praying.
But in general, DTU also had team rooms, which is cool.
Oh, they did.
And they opened up another convention hall, like the hallways above.
See, that's the thing about UDA is that they don't provide any holding space for you.
Yeah, no.
That's why everyone just like camps out in the baseball arena and in the grass or whatever, or they leave and come back.
Yeah, I don't like that about UDA. So if I had to tier this in like what I would do for our team, I would do DTU, NDA, UDA. Mostly because I don't like the music laws. I want to use whatever freaking music I want to do in the tricks. And everything that DTU does, NDA does too. Yeah. So if without the music and the tricks thing, I would put NDA, DTU right next to each other. Yeah. I would do NDA because we have support.
Yeah, for me, NDA is at the top of the list because of the support and because we've been there before and we're so familiar with it. We've been doing NDA for years, even if it's nationals or regionals. We know how to not appease the judges, but we know like what the judges are looking for.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I know DTU is going to be more of a challenge because it's like I feel like it's combining all the competitions into one, including Contest of Champions
and HHI and
yeah. So I know it would be a great challenge and stuff like that, but like NDA is also a challenge and it's something that we're familiar with and we know.
I'm calling it now though. DTU is going to be the biggest competition next season, bigger than UDA. I'm calling it. It's inevitable because everyone's switching over. Did we hit everything? Yeah. That was a really long conversation.
That was long. You want to see how long it was?
No, it's fine. It can keep running. Is there any more topics you wanted to talk about?
So based on our opinions of UDA, how do you think it's going to go for All-Star Nationals?
This will be my first time at UDA All-Star Nationals. And if it's anything like Summit or Worlds, it's probably going to be...
It's definitely not going to be as big. It'll probably be... Well, I'm still waiting for a team list and a performance order, but it'll probably be about the same size as Dallas, I hope.
Yeah.
But there's also UCA, so there's cheerleaders going to be there. All-Star cheer.
It's going to be so annoying. Early in the morning, and they're going to be cheering at 7 in the morning.
Yep. All of our parents are going to be pissed.
Yeah, they're going to be pissed. Put some white noise.
Who are these cheerleaders waking us up right now?
Right. You know what? I'm excited.
At least we know everyone will wake up.
Yeah, I'm excited for UDA All-Star Nationals because it's a competition I've never been to, so I don't have any like pre-biases or judgment.
And it's going to be cool because this is the first time they separated it from NDTC. So that's why, I mean, NDTC was still huge even without All-Star this year, but last year it was combined.
Yeah.
So I think that would have been equally as crazy if we had that this year.
But all the cheer teams is going to make those parks really busy too.
Yeah. I'm just hoping that we get All-Star Sports. Yeah. I think I'm spoiled now.
That way we could just go straight down.
For DDC, like literally we walk out, we could stand right, we were on the second floor, we can watch for spots up on the balcony.
Yep, and we can get these things in and out fast. I agree.
But I think it'll be a good experience for everyone across the board. Us, the kids.
That's what I'm really looking forward to, is the kids having a great time.
Yeah, they deserve it. They deserve to have this to look forward to every year, you know?
I agree.
And that's what we wanted to do, was provide this for them. Provide that dance team experience, the full effect. Yeah. Dallas is great because we're all stuck in one hotel together. We don't even leave. Some parents leave, but like we don't leave because we're so busy practicing and doing all the things. But at least when we go to Florida, there's Disney, there's we get to experience the castle, ESPN. Like it's all the things that like they do at college nationals and high school. I
just don't want the UDA Nationals experience that you guys had to transfer over to our All-Star team.
Yeah.
And we're still young in this, so it's still like very fresh and new. Even the All-Star portion of UDA is all fresh and new. So I'm just hoping that experience doesn't translate and we're not irritated with UDA because we got burned and we sacrificed the season.
No, I'm actually really excited. Like, I just know that at high school nationals, at high school UDA, there's so many college level teams that it's just tough. It's tough. Yeah. Tough competition.
I just hope that there's more All-Star studios starting to open up. There needs to be way more competitive All-Star options, not just locally.
There is one that we know of, but it's a secret. Not ours, but our friends.
Oh, yeah, our friends. I convinced her to open up a...
Yeah. Not in Vegas, but like...
We had a long drive, an hour-long drive to discuss how I feel about All-Star and how she should switch her studio over to All-Star, and she did it.
There's more opening up. And then Laura, who used to coach Rock Springs, her studio, she's looking. Well, I mean, she kind of is like slowly transitioning to All-Star, but she's
kind of like Envision.
Yeah,
just slowly. Like,
she's looking into that, but they have to do a lot of stuff in like Salt Lake or whatever because they're 2 hours north of Salt Lake City in a small little town, so they have to travel for all their competitions, which we basically travel for all of ours too.
You'd have to.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'd love to know your guys' take on UDA, NDA, DTU, Contest of Champions, USA, all of those. We didn't touch on Contest of Champions or USA because we haven't been to those yet, so we don't really have a bias. But I do know that UDA, NDA, DTU all happened. They all showed us what they have to offer, and I want to know why other teams should or should not do one or the other. Like, why is UDA better? Why is DTU better? Why do you like NDA? Why don't you like NDA? I'd love to hear your guys' opinions and what's best for your team.
And touching on USA real quick, I thought it was weird. Like last weekend, the same weekend that you were gone for NDA and DTU, they had USA Spirit Nationals. Sorry. USA Spirit Nationals and USA College Nationals at the same time, which they offer a game day division for the Spirit Nationals for high school. But then when we go and we bring our JV team, they don't have a game day division. So our JV is competing their game day in the dance division.
That's weird.
So like Foothill JV, for example, they went to Spirit Nationals, but they didn't compete their hip hop because they don't offer it there.
They need to like concise.
It's like, so it's weird.
Like, why are we jumping around rules? Just like put it in one spot, make it a thing, you know?
And why was it the same weekend as college nationals? So I think it's weird how you can offer a game day here but not here. So now our JV might be competing a game day against someone else's hip hop. Because I think if I remember correctly, at USA, if you have a hip hop but you have a second one, you could put it in the dance category. Dance is basically anything you want. I think. But I just think it's weird that like game day all-in-one performance was only offered at Spirit Nationals.
That's weird. That is weird.
So that's just my take on USA, and
we'll see how it goes when you guys head out to Anaheim.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll actually be there.
Yeah, so we'll be able to catch it.
Yeah, but let us know your opinions. Let us know what you think. I think it's a very important topic because people are going to start deciding their UDA, NDA, their nationals route. Yeah, we got to
decide before summer.
Yeah, and I'd love to hear opinions on it because it's like, what is best for our teams? We work so freaking hard all year. Like, what is our best option?
Yeah.
So if you have an opinion, let us know. If you have maybe like a better outlook on the biases of both UDA, NDA, or the situation with the Cougarettes, let me know. I'd love to.
Or if you're mad at anything we said.
Yeah, if you disagree, let us know.
Yeah.
I'd love to learn.
This is just our opinion, and you know.
Yeah. I don't think we said anything crazy.
No.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Comment down below.
Follow our new dance studio.
Or TM Dance Complex. Follow that. That'll be really nice of you. And yeah, we'll see you later.